90s arcade-style brawlers are making a comeback. We've compiled the 10 best of the best on the Switch in 2024. Feel free to list your top 10 in the comments and tell us which ones we missed. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more on gaming and brawlers. Streets of Rage 2 is one of the greatest brawlers of all time. With an amazing soundtrack by Yuzo Koshiro and a gameplay style more complex than Final Fight, you can't go wrong playing this game. Originally released for the Sega Genesis in 1992, this classic has been ported to countless collections and re-released on the Nintendo Switch Online service. If you're a premium subscriber, you can play this online with another player or on the go on the Nintendo Switch. Battletoads and Battlemaniacs might not be the easiest game on this list, but it might be the easiest Battletoads game. Released exclusively for the Super Nintendo in 1993, this is a platform brawler, just like every other Battletoads game. You will fight your way through stages, climb along walls and pipes, and face off with bosses. And then there are the infamous speed bike segments. Expect to die a lot in this game. The great part is that on a modern console you can save your states like an emulator, so it really is the ideal way to play this game. The music is great as usual, and it has that quirky Rareware charm you expect from games like Donkey Kong Country. The Double Dragon and Kunio-kun Retro Brawler Bundle has 18 titles to choose from. This is a bit of a cheat for the list, but you get all 3 of the Double Dragon games from the NES, Renegade, River City Ransom, and the Japanese version of River City Ransom translated into English, as well as some new Kunio-kun sports games, and a never-released sequel to River City Ransom set in a feudal Japanese stage play. The gameplay is exactly what you remember if you've ever played River City Ransom or Double Dragon. There are quality-of-life improvements like removal of flicker, frame rate smoothing, sound quality enhancement, and online play. With 18 titles to choose from, you really can't go wrong here if you enjoy brawlers.
Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The Cowabunga Collection assembles 13 classic TMNT games by Konami in one incredible package. This collection provides a unique opportunity for gamers to experience these immensely popular and very influential games on Nintendo Switch, and includes a fantastic set of new quality-of-life features. Much like the Double Dragon Collection, you can now enable quality-of-life improvements, such as removal of flicker, save states, and online play. There is a treasure trove of extra content for Turtles fans, from promotional material, screenshots of the cartoons, magazines, movies, and even the comic books. This is another great game to play with friends or alone. Scott Pilgrim vs. The World. The game, Complete Edition, includes the remaster of Scott Pilgrim vs. The World. The game and its original DLCs, the Knives Chow and Wallace Wells add-on packs. Rediscover the beloved 2D arcade-style beat 'em up inspired by the iconic comic book series and movie, Scott Pilgrim vs. The World. Play as your favorite characters, Scott Pilgrim, Ramona Flowers, Knives Chow, Steven Stills, and more. Level up and learn new, awesome abilities. Unlock secret items and modes, summon powerful allies, and more. Team up with friends and combine your skills to battle your way through waves of tough enemies. Or compete with them in awesome mini-games like Dodgeball. All on your way to defeat the League of Ramona's Evil Exes. Originally released on the Xbox 360 as an Xbox Live Arcade title, this game takes inspiration from River City Ransom and plays homage to many classic games. With a beautiful soundtrack by Anna Managuchi and gorgeous pixel art, you will have plenty of fun bashing your way through Canada, buying nachos, and collecting coins on Rainbow Road. This is truly a fun game to just play at your leisure. Level up and enjoy the sights and sounds. Prepare to throw down the Double Dragon way in this fresh addition to the iconic Beat 'em Up franchise. It's the year 199X, and nuclear war has devastated New York City, leaving its citizens to fight for survival as riots and crime engulf the streets. The city has been overtaken by criminal gangs who terrorize its ruins as they fight for total dominance. Unwilling to endure these conditions any longer, young Billy and Jimmy Lee take it upon themselves to drive the gangs out of their city. Double Dragon Gaiden is something of a reboot to the iconic Double Dragon franchise. This game takes a more arcade and roguelike style than previous incarnations. Initially, you can choose between the Lee brothers, Marion, and Uncle Matt. You will always have two characters that you can switch between using special moves. You choose stages in any order you want, and each playthrough will be different because each stage has 3 phases. But you can only see the third stages if you choose those stages to be the last of your playthrough. This gives the game a lot of replay value, as you will want to see how each level changes based on how fair you go. You unlock tokens to buy extras in the menu, such as music, art, and tips, and most importantly, you can unlock the boss characters with these tokens. Free DLC added the third dragon of Sunny Lee, the ninja from Double Dragon 3, and Chun from Double Dragon 3. This game is a love letter to Double Dragon fans, and is really a lot of fun. It would be even more fun with a cooperative partner, as you can also play the survival mode to see how far you can go and how high your score can get.
That's right, we're back again. Last time was not the end, and now there's a greater threat, so we better call some friends. There's a new final boss in town.
Speaking of Double Dragon, this spiritual sequel to Kunio and Double Dragon is a sequel to another excellent game, so I will include both as one slot on this list. The River City Girls are ready for round 2, when an old foe resurfaces: Misako, Kyoko, Kunio, and Riki, joined by newcomers Marion and Provi. Hit the streets for an all-new beat-em-up adventure packed with new abilities, enemies, environments, and more. Team up for local or online co-op, then pound punks into the dirt with brand new guard crush attacks, lift-off combos, double-team maneuvers, and other knuckle-busting techniques. Level up to earn new moves, buy items and accessories in more than 30 shops, and recruit defeated foes and hired heavies to help you on your way. River City is bigger than ever, with more locations to explore, more objects to destroy, and a day-night cycle. With non-linear gameplay, recently, there has been DLC for the Lee brothers as playable characters as well, so you can have even more fun playing through as the iconic Double Dragons alongside Marion and the cast of River City Ransom. This game is a lot of fun alone or with friends and has boatloads of charm, gorgeous pixel art, and infectious music.
Teenage Mutant Ninja
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Shredder's Revenge features groundbreaking gameplay rooted in timeless classic brawling mechanics. Brought to you by the Beat 'em Up experts at Team U, Streets of Rage 4, and Tribute Games. Bash your way through gorgeous pixel art environments and slay tons of hellacious enemies with your favorite turtle, each with his own skills and moves, making each run unique. Choose a fighter. Use radical combos to defeat your opponents and experience intense combats loaded with breathtaking action and outrageous ninja abilities. Stay sharp as you face off against Shredder and his faithful Foot Clan alone, or grab your best buds and play with up to 6 players simultaneously.
System crash. Easy peasy.
Streets of Rage 4, known as Bare Knuckle 4 in Japan. 4 is a side-scrolling beat 'em up developed by Guard Crush Games and Lizard Cube, released by Team U in April 30th, 2020 for the PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. It was also released for the now-defunct Stadia in July 15th, 2021, and later for Android and iOS in May 24th, 2022. The game was made in an official association with Sega Japan. It is the first new installment in the series since Streets of Rage 3. The game takes place a decade after the events of Bare Knuckle 3, disregarding the altered storyline of Streets of Rage 3. Streets of Rage 4 is one of the greatest games ever made. The soundtrack is primarily composed by Olivier Derivière, with participation of original series composers Yuzo Koshiro and Motohiro Kawashima, along with guest composers Yoko Shimomura, Hiromi Fujita, Keiji Yamagishi, Scattle, Das Mortal, XL Middleton, and Groundislava. Streets of Rage 4 carries on the style of previous entries in the series. Players advance from left to right on each stage, defeating enemies as they go. Players can pick up healing items and disposable weapons. At the end of each stage, they must face a boss. All the fundamentals from previous titles return to this game. Characters can execute combo attacks on the ground, as well blitz attacks, which are performed by pressing forward twice and the attack button. There are 3 different types of aerial attacks. Neutral aerial, done by jumping in place. Forward aerial and down aerial, notable for not knocking down enemies. The player can also grab opponents by moving into them directly, to pummel or throw them forward or back. Most characters can also vault over opponents to perform more powerful throws. New to Streets of Rage 4 are wall bounces. Enemies no longer go off-screen when launched by attacks, instead bouncing off invisible walls, determined by the current combat zone until the player can advance further. Enemies are vulnerable to attacks while in the air until they touch the ground. Because of that, combat encourages players to juggle opponents against each other and walls for extended combos. Wall bounces can only be executed up to 3 times per combo. After that, enemies will simply fall to the ground, but still within the limits of the invisible walls. The special attack system from Streets of Rage 2 and Streets of Rage 3 returns, with improvements to encourage players to engage with it more promptly. After using a special attack, instead of just losing a portion of health, a green gauge will appear over the health bar, marking the amount of health lost used by the special attack. Each consecutive hit the player delivers against enemies will replenish some of that green health based on damage dealt, meaning the player can fully restore lost health used in a special attack by using normal attacks. However, should the player take a direct hit, the remaining green bar will disappear and the health recovery effect will be lost. This creates a high-risk versus high-reward situation where players can spam special attacks as long as they have health to spare. In addition, characters now have access to an aerial special attack. Another major addition are the star moves, which are limited-use super attacks which consume a power star, indicated below the player's health bar. The moves deal massive damage to multiple enemies at once, while also making the player completely invulnerable for its entire duration, except for a few, namely Shiva's Spirit Dance, Max's Iron Will, Estel's Tactical Support, and Rue's Here Comes Bruce. In addition, those moves ignore enemies' super armor, invincibility frames, and also bypass their off-the-ground counter. Normally, Players always start with 1-star move by default at the start of each stage, but more power stars can be found through the stage. Star moves are inspired by the star power-ups from the first Streets of Rage that summoned the police to bombard opponents. In March 27, 2023, a patch added a new move exclusive to the multiplayer mode called Co-op Attack. By holding the item pickup button for 2 seconds, the player character will glow blue, and if approaching another player while holding it, the glowing player will grab their partner and toss them high in the air. The airborne player can press the attack button and unleash a special attack. Launching on July 15, 2021, the DLC pack titled Mr. X Nightmare adds in 3 new playable characters, 1 new secret character, while the previous characters received new moves, along with new weapon pickups, new enemies, and exclusive brand new tracks by T. Lopez. This DLC also added 2 new gameplay modes, Training and Survival. This DLC came along with a free update patch, which adds the Mania Plus difficulty level, alternate color palettes per character, excluding retro ones, and balance changes. Streets of Rage features a roster of 21 playable characters, with 13 being retro characters from previous titles. With 12 stages, 21 playable characters, multiple move loadouts and special moves, survival mode, arcade mode, and story mode, as well as 2 soundtrack Streets of Rage is one of the most content-packed brawlers ever made and is a must-own for any fan of the genre. You can play with 3 other people locally or 1 other person online and have fun for years. I've put in hundreds of hours in this game, and I'm still not bored by it. This is the #1 brawler on the Nintendo Switch, or any platform in my opinion. For added fun, try playing with a 6-button Sega Genesis controller, and you will feel like you're back in the 1990s all over again. This has been my top 10 best brawlers on the Switch. I'm hopeful that this genre continues to grow and put out more high-quality titles like we've seen here. Power Rangers Rita's Rewind looks very promising and might just hit that sweet spot of nostalgia that fans of these games are hungry for.
Rangers, can you hear me? It's fortune time!
Let's do this, team!
Take that! Go Power Rangers! I can see how this will end. Woo! Join in the party!
Saber-tooth fight!
Tyrannosaurus! We need Megazord power now!
Pterodactyl!
That's enough out of you!